So there were some rumors last week that Marvel were teaming up with NRS to make a Marvel fighting game. I know I'm late to the party, but whatever, fuck it. Ed Boon ain't giving a shit, so we're gonna talk about something. But before we get into it, if you enjoy regular FGC content, make sure you like and subscribe for some more fighting game goodness. It helps the channel grow and I just really appreciate it. So let's talk some Marvel, baby. So there's not a lot of actual substance to this rumor and there's no official statement, so this is all speculation. But I find it very, very interesting for a few main reasons. Does this mean that Marvel aren't interested in doing another Marvel vs. Capcom game, especially after Infinite's, stuff? And from a purely business standpoint, I get it. It kind of makes sense because they're like, okay, look at the numbers of Marvel vs. Capcom, look at Injustice, and look at what NetherRealm Studios have done with Mortal Kombat 11. Like, Mortal Kombat 11 was what? Fighting game of the year last year, even though it didn't come out last year, but it's one of the highest selling fighting games of all time. I mean, Mortal Kombat was like what, the 5th best selling game of 2019? It sold like 8 million copies. That's crazy. Actually, how did Injustice sell? The first Injustice was apparently the highest selling game in the US in its release month. It's easy to look at it from the outside and be like, okay, look, Injustice is selling well, NRS are killing it, let's jump ship and do that. But it's really kind of annoying because, like, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite could have been really, really fucking good. There's a lot of things it had going for it that I really enjoyed. Like, rollback netcode. I really like the Infinity Stone system. I think that added a layer of depth to it. But the problem is Disney were the ones that didn't really knuckle down and invest properly in the game. It's what really held it back. So if they're jumping ship to NRS, what's to say they don't do the same thing? You look at the way NRS make games, you look at the production quality in not just the gameplay itself, but like look at the cinematics and story mode of the last few Mortal Kombat games. Mwah! MK11's story mode was just so damn good. And I mean, with the Avengers game not doing so well, I've still yet to play it because it looks like poo-poo. What's to say that I don't want to put a fighting game with a dope-ass story and have like an MK11 kind of effect? NRS has shown they can do it. I mean, the Injustice stories were really good. Injustice 2 story mode was fucking crazy. The most common question that I have seen on Twitter. If this is true, if Marvel are teaming up with NRS, who are owned by Warner Brothers, is there a chance we could get Marvel vs. DC? Oh, that would be so good. I don't think it's very likely. I think Disney have way too much pride. We can't have Marvel characters being beaten up by DC. They're stupid. I don't know if the NRS style really lends itself to Marvel, especially because we're so accustomed to the crazy, dynamic, high-energy, incredibly colorful Marvel vs. motherfucking Capcom. My first thought goes to Spider-Man. Imagine Spider-Man in an NRS game. So I'm not sold. I'm not sold on it. And they'd probably go the same way as Injustice, where, Injustice didn't have fatalities. They were like, okay, we'll have these, like, brutalities, I'll just beat you to a pulp kind of thing. Marvel would obviously do that because they need to appeal to their younger audience. DC have gone very dark and broody. Ooh, spoopy. But Marvel not so much. NRS are going to have to really change the tone on the way they make games. But it's definitely interesting to think about, and I would love a Marvel vs. DC game. That would be so sick. You could have Battle of the Billionaires with Batman and Iron Man. You could finally have like the Hulk vs. Superman. You could do like Captain Marvel vs. Wonder Woman. There's a lot of really cool matchups. Oh my god, if it's Marvel vs. DC, you could totally call it Infinity Crisis. Get it? Like Infinite Crisis from DC, but like Infinity stuffs from Marvel. There's definitely a lot of potential. I don't really have a lot of faith in Disney to deliver on fighting games recently. Hell, not even just fighting games. Look at the Avengers games. So if it is true, I hope it's good, and I hope NRS deliver, but I can't help but be skeptical. But anyway, let me know what you think of the potential Marvel NRS rumors. Do you want this Marvel vs. NRS game? Do you want Marvel Injustice? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to follow me on Twitch and YouTube. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We play some fighting games. We're playing a whole bunch of Guilty Gear up until Strive comes out, so hope to see you there, and I will catch you for the next video.